Baseball season's underway. Well, you better get ready for a brand new day. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. They're singing, go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. They got the power, they got...
Hello, and welcome back to Mic'd Up with Brett H. and Norma G. Norma's birthday was yesterday. My birthday is going to be July 6th. Today is July 3rd, 2026. For today's video, we're covering our trip from the northern Illinois Waukegan area, or Round Lake Beach area where Norma lives, to the city of Milwaukee in the state of Wisconsin last weekend for the Cubs game. Very manageable road trip by way of I-94, roughly 60 miles away, as the traffic was pretty light until we reached Milwaukee city limits a little over an hour later. Not bad at all for a vacation spot out of town. Plus it was very nice in these tough economic times to find cheaper fuel in Wisconsin compared to the Chicagoland area, where their gas prices are considerably lower due to the taxes, about 50 cents a gallon cheaper. So that was one big highlight from the very start. As for the accommodations, we stayed at the Homewood Suites Hotel by Hilton in downtown Milwaukee. We got some pictures from that as well. It was a 3-star hotel with a 4 out of 5 average rating on all the major travel sites. It doesn't come cheap, so buyer beware here, even if I must admit that was the best hotel I've ever stayed at as far as I can recall, at least in the US. Spacious accommodations for 2 days that reminded me of a very nice 1-bedroom apartment, somewhere I'd be happy to live. It had a kitchenette with a dishwasher, a stove, full-size refrigerator, plus dishes and cutlery, 2 quality television sets, along with a reasonable-sized bathroom. We've been together for over 3 years with both of our birthdays in early July, as I mentioned. So Norma was very nice enough to thoughtfully plan our visit to see the visiting Chicago Cubs take on the hometown Milwaukee Brewers last Friday at American Family Field, sponsored by American Family Insurance. We've got some links to the ballpark as well as to the highlights of this game. Going into the game, that game last weekend on Friday, the Cubs had a record of 44 wins, 37 losses, 7 games over 500, in second place in the National League Central, plus holding the 3rd wild card spot in the National League overall, along with a 236 and 228 win-loss record in the rivalry history, which is practically even at a .509 percentage. So when we add in the fact that the Cubs hold a roughly $224 million payroll versus the Brewers, which sits at roughly $144 million, but we might expect the Cubs to field an overall better team. We don't always get what we want, and we don't get what we pay for sometimes too. So despite spending $80 million less on payroll, not only are the Brewers still in first place, mind you, they also have a much better record than the Cubs. The Cubs did come back to win the next 2, which we didn't see. And it seems they have a more balanced team overall than the rival south of them across the border, the Cubs. Plus for Friday, June 26th at 6:45, the Brew crew had their best pitcher starting for them, Jacob Mizorowski, against the Cubs veteran Colin Ray. Well, both pitchers are quality starters. The kid they call the Miz, now he's much younger at 24 versus Ray at 35. Plus, Jacob has far better statistics to go along with possessing far better stuff, hitting 100 miles per hour Friday on his fastball 55 times. Most people don't do it once during a game. With 40 times 101 or higher, and an unbelievable 105.5, yes, you heard that right, pitch in the first inning. Rhea kept it as close as he could, pitching well and holding them scoreless for 5 full innings, with the Cubs actually possessing a 1-run lead courtesy of a Seiya Suzuki homer. The right fielder DH Suzuki drove his 11th of the season as a line drive over the right center field wall. Despite having just that one hit, the team we were rooting for had the lead. But the problem was, despite coaxing 3 walks from the Miz, the top of the 6th inning with 2 outs and the bases loaded, the Cubs left fielder Ian Happ struck out to shut down that rally. I told Norma at the time that this might come back to haunt them, and it did, as the Brewers scored 3 times in the bottom of the 6th to take a 3-1 lead. Then 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning after the Cubs got 0. Then 1 more run in the bottom of the 8th inning after the Cubs scratched out a 2nd run for them, with a 6-2 final score, as the Cubs could only muster 2 total hits and 2 runs the entire game against 6 runs and 11 hits for the Brewers. With the Cubs striking out 11 times out of 36 outs, nearly 1 in 3 batters. Not a very good showing for the many Cubs fans who showed up among the 41,000 fans last night, especially that one that sat behind her, a Cubs fan that just kept screaming because things were not going well and was basically yelling in her ear. It was great that he didn't like the Brewers and he was cheering for the Cubs. And we were sitting in the Brewers section because that's what was available. It was like twice as much to sit across the other way where the Cubs dugout was. But anyway, that was one of the down parts of that whole thing. As for the stadium itself, there were a lot of impressive things about it, along with things that could have been better, such as the following. Norma isn't a baseball fan, so she was just there because of me. She didn't dislike the park or anything, just fans like the one that was screaming. It's also just something that doesn't really excite her. Unlike me, give her a candle shop or something and she's down. Unlike me, who has only ever visited MLB parks in Chicago, I've always thought if the Cubs ever moved away from historic Wrigley Field, having a park like the Brewers American Family Field would be pretty sweet. I would take that. In my opinion, they have built a stadium where every seat has an adequate to fantastic view. We took some video and plenty of pictures that we're going to share. Also have a fibromyalgia, so it was a challenge due to all the walking, but to me, it was well worth it. If you're a baseball fan or just happen to be in the area in the summer, check out a game. I think you'll really enjoy it. There's affordable tickets when they're not playing the Cubs or the Cardinals or some other rival. And other special events. There's family activities such as a batting cage that I tried and did not do well at, and a pitching radar gun for the fans where you can basically come and throw it, and it has a gauge that'll tell you how fast you threw it. I also did not try that one. And thank you again for watching Mic'd Up on the Road with Brett and Norma. We appreciate everyone, and have a blessed day. Goodbye.